Right. So information session. So let's just talk about really the main reason we're looking at this product is because we want to use it to share information, which includes files and notes and really chats. And we want to collaborate, talk with one another, and have this really effective method of communicating. And so what you're going to learn about today is we're going to talk about how to use Teams to reduce the clutter, how to save time using it, how to use it better for remote meetings, because I mean, that's really the biggest use of it, I find, from talking with people. And then the other big thing is, well, how do I stay on track with my team? If we are going to use this product for the team, how do all of us stay on track with things? And then the last thing is, how is this product, which has so much in it and has so much potential, by the way, in it, how is this going to help us saving or removing those distractions? Some distractions can be from many forms, whether it be email or phones or what have you. So we'll give you some ideas on how to make that possible. So in terms of the best practices here, I'm sorry, this is the wrong. I thought I looked at my slide beforehand. Sorry, wrong slide. So just a quick little note about myself. I have been in business since 1991. There's a picture to prove it. I've been teaching for a long time. I won a few different awards over the years. And have had a lot of great customers give me some feedback on my teaching. So I hope you guys will appreciate what I'm going to share with you today and get lots of benefit from it. So what I want you to expect is I'm going to start with a little presentation, then we're going to get into a little bit of a lesson using the Teams application, and then we're going to have a bit of time at the end for questions and answers. And if I don't answer everything for you at that time, then please feel free to at any time in the future to email me and get a hold of me. And you'll probably get emails from me as well, so you can certainly reply to those. So let's talk about our first point, reducing the clutter. So Teams, of course, is a place where we can have our chats, we can have our files, we can even look at emails in Teams. But I want you to think about emails in a different way. Really, when we look at emails, I want you to think of Teams as being the replacement for the need to email as much. And so I'm not saying it's replacing email 100%, but it's replacing the need for as much. So if I have a team of people I'm working within the Microsoft Teams environment, I shouldn't be emailing them about the topic that we're trying to cover in the Teams application. I should be using Teams to communicate. I mean, that's the purpose of us being there, right? So that's where we want to do that chatting and share the files. So that's kind of a given there. And so the next part about it in terms of reducing the clutter is really you want to look at the Teams product as I'm going to give you a little bit of terminology along the way here too. And that is the fact that, you start with the team. So Teams is the program, but a team is the feature that or the tool, if you will, that the thing that you're creating within the program. So you start with the team. So the team example here is mission. So my company name. And then you have a number of channels. And so the reason you have these channels is think of it as channels of communication. So if I have this group of people, so my company mission, what does my company and the people that work with me need to talk about? We have some general conversations. We have some budget conversations. That's a locked channel, by the way, because not all of us need to be involved in that. So that way we can make that a bit more private. And then we have some resources we like to share. And of course, we have to talk about training because that's what our business is all about. So the channels helps us break down kind of that team into distinctive groups or topics that we can share information on. And that's what's helping reducing the clutter. Now, saving the time, really, when you look at how you construct a team, you want to look at this area at the top here. And this area at the top here, and I don't know, yeah, I had it on one of my slides, but I didn't put it on this one. Wiki, by the way, is gone as of July. I don't know if any of you know what that is. So if you don't, just forget about it. It was a feature that was introduced in the beginning, but now Microsoft's retired it. But otherwise, when you create a team, you have a central place for posting your chats or conversations and sharing your files. But you also have a lot more. And so all I'm showing you here is one other thing, which is another application that Microsoft 365 gives you called OneNote. But I could have a number of applications showing here across the way. So if I was in a particular team, in a particular channel, what am I I have a central place now where we can communicate with our chats in the posts area. I have a central place where we can save our files. I have a central place where we can have notes or research or meeting agendas or meeting notes as well. And so that's that OneNote. And I have central place for other things as well that we'll give you an example of here. So the idea of saving time is that, you know, I go to my team, I go to the appropriate topic, and then I find everything I need in that one place, one central place. And I build it that way so people want to come and, you know, use the team, and it becomes a very effective means of us working together. So the other thing about Teams, of course, is its ability to create the meetings, the remote meetings. And you guys might be laughing at me in terms of sending you a Zoom invite for this Teams session, but I do that on purpose because, well, two reasons. One is if you're coming to an information session on Teams, I don't want to assume you have lots of skill level or experience with Teams. You might really even not like Teams to some degree, and that's why you want to come to the information session. So I'm not going to force you to go on the meeting for that. But the second reason, and kind of more the reason why I do it this way, is because if I want to run a sample meeting in Teams just to show you a couple things, I can't do that if we're in a Teams meeting together. I can't run a second one. So that's why. But the reason why I'd want to show you a Teams meeting on the go is because, you know, aside from just having the meeting and recording the meeting, what happens is I have a place now for recording my notes, recording my attachments, or my files that we need to use in the meeting, and all that information that happens during the meeting, before the meeting, after the meeting, that can be all stored in one central place within Teams. And in fact, it is stored in one central place within Teams. It's wherever the meeting took place. So did the meeting take place in your team within a channel because it was about a group of people that already talk about a particular topic? So that's the channel. Or did the meeting take place in a chat because you're just working with somebody external, or it was kind of a one-off meeting? And so maybe then it's in the chat area. But if you have meetings with that person or a group of people over and over again, you'll always find all the past meetings and all the related information in the same place. So that's what I mean by avoiding the confusion. So we'll do some examples of that after. And so really it's about these four things, all these things kept together with the meeting, really. And then the next piece here is staying on track. So we're going to stay on track when we use Microsoft Teams if we build it in the best way possible. And one of the extra tools that we can put within play in our team is that we can have what's called a planner. And so a planner is us being able to keep track of tasks. So it's called Tasks by Planner, or I kind of forget the name. Yeah, Task by Planner. And it's referred to in various ways. Sometimes you'll see it referred to as task, sometimes you see it referred to as planner. So you kind of have to get used to both of them. But it is a Microsoft 365 application that's available to you as a standalone, or available to you to use within Teams. So I would use it in Teams with the team of people that I'm working with, so I can see, hey, what are we working on? How are you doing with that? Where are you at? And the planner gives us that kind of view of the world with the team. And then the last thing is removing distractions. So how is Teams going to remove distractions? Because you might sort of sense by now that there's a lot of stuff happening within Teams. So first of all, if we build it right, and that's, you're going to hear me say that a few times. If we build it the right way, that makes sense for people, it's going to be less distractions because I get to the exact thing I want to get to because of the way it's built. So I get to those resources, or I get to the budget. That's all I want to see. So I'm not distracted by other stuff because it's only about the budget when I go to that channel. And then there's other things we can do, like we can put our spreadsheets or any files, any websites that we tend to need to visit regularly for that purpose within that team. Then we can actually even lock that to the team. So the team and Teams, the program, should become a gateway to everything you need to get your work done within your team. So it's like the portal to information. This is how you can kind of think of it. And it's giving you shortcuts to everything else. So that's the presentation. And now I'm going to jump into Teams to kind of move you around and see this information. And I'm kind of got a couple of screens on my in front of me here, and that's why you might see me looking down a little bit just to keep on track myself. So I'm going to go into Teams, and so that PowerPoint I just did was within my Teams environment. And so as you see, I'm still in Teams. And what we're going to do is I'm just going to change my screen a little bit here. And what I want to do is I want to first talk about navigation. So if you want your Teams environment to work best, you have to think about the full-on navigation that you need for everyone that you work with. And so what I mean by that is what are the teams? What are the channels? So you have to map out what makes sense. And so when you think about the teams, I want you to look at my left side as an example here for you. And first off, think about, do I need to get together with groups of people based on their department? So maybe we have an accounting department, an employee onboarding group of people, which may not be a department. So actually, I'm just going to, so now you're going to see a little trick here. I'm just going to move that around. Okay, so let's say I want to get together with people based on the department. So that would be accounting, health and safety, and human resources. So each of those departments has their own team, and the people in those departments are the members of those teams. And then we may have teams because we have certain functions. There may be a group of us that are responsible, and from all those departments perhaps, so there could be some crossover, but a group of us are responsible for employee onboarding. So that's kind of the role that you can look at as a reason for making a team. And then I have instructors, so that's a role, and that's a reason I make a team, so the instructors can get together and talk about things. Now, what I see a lot of times with my own clients is they'll have in terms of a role, I'll see them having management teams or leadership teams. So everybody that's in that leadership group or that committee, or, they're meeting regularly, they have their own team. And then you might have teams for projects. And so now, depending on your industry, you might have a few projects a year, or you might have like hundreds of projects a year. So kind of based on the quantity, you might have to think through how you arrange the projects. There is no limit to how many teams you can have. The limit is people's ease of finding stuff, right? So you want to make it easy, and the navigation should be easy for those other people involved, right? The channels, however, do have a limit, and you have a limit within the channels within a team. So channels, let me just open this up a little bit. So if I open up the accounting team, these are the topics. So they can go to the general channel, which every team comes with a general channel, and just general information happening here. Maybe that's some meetings going on and stuff. They can go to the documentation channel, financial reports channel, if they have access to that, and so on. So these channels are separate topics that they're discussing. You have a limit of 250 of these channels that you have available to you. So let's get back to that first point ahead on the slide in terms of reducing the clutter. If you have your accounting group, we'll just use that as our first example. Let's say there's 3 people in accounting. Rather than those 3 people having to email each other documents that they need to update or need to review, or emailing questions and stuff like that, they would just use these channels for the purpose of having conversations and storing their files. They don't need to email each other. So that's reducing the clutter on the email side of things. And if they get an email from somebody that they feel like they need to take that email and have it as part of Teams, because maybe that email came from an external source, they can always take that email and send it to the team. And so a really quick tip around that, in case you're not familiar with that, is that every channel that you have within a team, these 3 dots, I always refer to a menu, and in the menu of a channel is get email address. So if I get the email address for the channel, I can then send the email that came into my inbox, and I can send it to the channel, because then all of us within accounting can talk about it rather than them emailing. So if I want to have the rule that, hey, we have a team now, let's not email if we don't have to, let's just talk within the team. Then if I get an email that I need to discuss with you, I'm not going to forward it to you. I'm going to discuss it in the team with you. And then that way I look one place, centralized place, for everything that I need about that particular group of people, about that particular topic. Okay, so give me some feedback now. Welcome, Steph. I saw you just joined us there. Give me some feedback within the chat. Let me know if this is making sense. Maybe give me some idea of the team names that you have already, if you've already started using Teams quite a bit, and if you have some channel names as well, or if you don't have anything on the go or you're just kind of planning it out, then give me some thoughts on what your plan is. Because this structure here is what's going to help your buy-in. This is what's going to help people use Teams more effectively. So you do want to be careful how you structure it. One of my clients that I was working with that they've been using Teams for a couple of years, and we just started a project together where I'm helping them understand and implement their team more effectively within their whole organization. But they've been using it for a couple of years, so they have some experience, but most of their experience is in chat and in meetings. They haven't really built out the teams and the channels the way that helps them most effectively. In fact, they're frustrated by it. They have hundreds of teams and they're a small organization, so they know that this is not the right way. So they have to go back and look at what teams they have and figure out, well, what makes sense? Who is the group of people that get together? What is it that they're talking about? Can I group it? But the whole picture is what you need to look at. You can't do this one at a time. You can plan it on paper and then build it one at a time if you want, but you have to figure out the whole picture first. Okay, so we're getting lots of people giving me ideas here. Great stuff. David says, makes sense. Yours is by department. Okay, no roles or projects. Okay, fair enough, David. Thank you. Stephanie, hi, Stephanie. You're from Australia as well, so thank you for joining us. Stephanie's a bookkeeper, and she's got departments for her clients, teams for her clients, which is a great idea. I have a lot of teams too that I'm not showing you, and a lot of my teams, I'll just show you right now, where you see the and. Anything with that is I was a client that I have a team with. Plus, I have other teams. I'll just let you peek here with a lot of other clients showing here. So I share teams or work with my clients via Teams. So if I'm starting the team, it's in this area here. If they start the team and invite me, it's in this area. Okay, so kind of two different places for it. Jennifer, you've got departments, programs, projects, lots of different stuff. Yeah, Jennifer, where are you with? You're with health. So I'm not sure if that's a nonprofit organization, Jennifer, or not, but maybe you can just give me a quick little chat about that. But departments, projects, yeah, a lot of crossovers. So the crossovers is the fun part because it's trying to figure out where do I put stuff. So that's when you plan it all out, that seems to be the fun of it. And Lewis, yeah, focus on individual projects and committees. Committees is an excellent example of, that's a big who, right? So I have a committee of people that work on something, then that is the team most likely. And then what is the different things that committee is working on might be the channels, right? So that could be how you arrange it. You kind of have to think through what makes sense there, right? So now let's talk a little bit about saving time. So I promised you that as well in terms of finding stuff. And so, think about how many hours per day you spend looking for emails or files, and really when you think about people's email systems, everyone's got a different system, like how you organize your inbox or your folders is probably different than me. And so Teams is this place where we all have to come together. We all have to agree on the organization. So we have to keep it simple and keep it in such a way that it's not going to be overwhelming to other people because we might have one method, but they may not agree with it. So you got to be careful. And that's where you really should be talking to your team about how to construct the team as well, get their feedback and stuff. So I'm just going to take you into one of my teams here where I have lots of samples, and we're going to look at the training channel. And in here, I'm just going to share with you just the files area. And I'm going to introduce to you a new little concept here. So most people, even though they're using SharePoint, even though they're using Teams, they're using OneDrive, I still see them in their File Explorer. Do you know what I'm talking about there? And you can tell me if you're one of those people. And I use mine to some degree as well. So don't get me wrong. I'm not immune to all these things. But, Tanya, Communications Charter. Yeah, good idea. I love it. So File Explorer is this guy here, the yellow Let me just show you really quick here if I can get you an example without scaring you with my File Explorer. It's the yellow folder at the bottom, right? But when you're using the File Explorer, I mean, you're not saving yourself time in filing information, especially if it's your own files that you want to share with others, because now you're having to figure out a way to communicate that file or send that file to other people. And so really storing your files within Teams, actually what's happening is when you store it in Teams, you are storing it in SharePoint. Teams, when you create a team, you're creating a SharePoint site. That's just the terminology, the techie part, and that's probably as far as I'm going to go with that piece. But just so you know, Teams and SharePoint really work hand in hand. And so, but you don't have to go to SharePoint. You can just work with stuff through the Teams view here. So I'm telling you that because I'm telling you it's on the cloud. And so anything you can do in SharePoint, you really can do in Teams. It's the same deal. And so this is an example of the anything. So when I'm in my files site or files area within my Teams, I should be seeing the files that are pertinent to this group of people and this topic, right? So it should be organized. Okay, I'm in training for the instructors. What files do we need for training? And so you notice I only have a couple of file folders here because I've emailed some stuff to the channel. I've done some recordings, but the rest of it's not really filed. And this is just a sample, but this could go on for a long ways. So what I've done instead here to save myself some time is I'm using the feature that's available to me within Teams, the same feature you'd have in SharePoint, and that's these columns here. And so if you went into files on one of your teams, you'd see, I'm just going to have to scroll over to the right because I have lots of columns, you'd see an add column option. And the reason you would want to investigate this is that when you add a column, you're creating a different kind of filing system for yourself. You do not need as many folders. You are going to save time in finding stuff if you organize your columns to give you more information. So rather than, for instance, rather than having a sample file folder, I could have had a folder that said sample files for my training. I made that as a piece of information in a column called type of doc. So rather than having a resource folder, I have a column piece of information that says resource. And I can then just go here and say group by this document. And now you'll see some don't have a group, so let's just not look at those, but my resources are there, my sample files are there. You will not get this view if you're in your File Explorer because that's the Windows way, right? This is the Teams and SharePoint way that we're looking at here. Dropbox, I'm not sure what you mean by Dropbox, Stephanie, so maybe just give me a couple more details. Sorry, I may have not seen that question quick enough there. So just fill in a few more things as to what you're asking about Dropbox in particular. But so this is a new method, and this is sort of about building it so they want to be in here. So if you're telling people, come into the team, we got stuff in the team. What do you have in there? Do you have the files in there? Are they organized in a way that's easy for everybody to find? Because remember, your folder system could be different than their folder system. So you want to think about how can I organize it so everybody can see it more quickly. A shared folder with clients for expense uploads. Can they see these within Teams? Yeah, if you have Dropbox, you can't see your Dropbox within the team. Let's just say it that way. Unless, okay, so I'm just going to go one further with that, Stephanie. I suppose if my instructors, let's say Stephanie is one of my instructors and so is Lewis. If Stephanie and Lewis are a part of this team and I decide to add, I can hit the plus sign here and add in another storage area like Dropbox to be available through the team. I could then add in the Dropbox if I'm sharing it with Stephanie and Lewis, and then they would see it. I can add it in if I want to, but if they don't have access to it, they're not going to see any of the files in it. So hopefully that answers your question there, Stephanie. So if you have the team with the right same people you have the Dropbox with, you should be able to share the Dropbox through using the plus sign there. So again, Teams is like your gateway to stuff. It's just about making sure the permissions make sense. Okay, I'm going to, so just knowing where to find files. So make sure your structure makes sense, you guys, in terms of Does it make sense for me to take people down this path so they can find the files easily? The mistake I see made sometimes is people take all the folders and files they have on their server on, this big, massive system where they have, thousands and thousands of files. They grab all those folders and they just dump them into SharePoint, or they dump them into Teams. And it's just like, did I really want to take the same stuff I had for the last 20 years and into this new technology? It's like saying I got a brand new house and I'm taking all my old furniture and all my old stuff that I should have cleaned out with me into that new house. You want to, I mean, that's not the best analogy, but you want to use this technology with the new features. You don't want to take old ways into new systems, right? So Teams is a new system. Let's figure out how to use this new system. And I realize this isn't going to happen overnight, because you guys are maybe thinking, oh man, geez, putting all those I've got thousands of files. It's going to take a while. So just think about, well, which one should I work on first? And there's ways to do it quickly, but I can't get into every detail with you right now. Just wanted to show you what's possible. And so you also have this pinning up here as well that you can do within the files area. So I'm in the training channel of my instructor team. The people that are sharing this with me can see these files. They can see the posts, so I don't need to email them. What else can they see? They can see there's a notebook we're sharing. So this is OneNote. This is where OneNote comes in. So we can share information through a notebook, and my notebook is going to be different than yours. But a notebook really is like a big binder of information, digital binder with tabs. So think about, the binders you might have somewhere on a shelf that has a bunch of tabs that separate information. Your tabs are the sections in your notebook. And then there's pages, the pieces of papers in your binder are the pages. So if I go to the TOC, which is table of contents in this example, oh, come on, it's just being a bit slow. It should show me different pages is what I'm trying to get at. Okay, apparently my internet's slow. Sorry, if I wasn't in a meeting, it might be a little bit faster with me, but so while that's happening, the reason, so let's go with the example of if we were say we had that team for the committee, then we might use the notebook for our meetings. This might be a meetings notebook. The sections might be the months, or maybe we have different kinds of meetings. So the sections could be the different kinds of meetings. And then the pages are the exact meeting dates. And that could be the agendas that we have in there, or the actual meeting notes. And again, remember the point here is we're sharing these meeting notes, this information with everybody that's in that team. So everybody in the committee doesn't have to wait for the email to come to them with the agenda or the minutes. They just go into their notebook at any time and it's up to date. Yeah, I'm sorry. It normally isn't this slow moving around, but it just happens to be being fun with me today. So okay, so I'm going to move on from here, and there's a few other things that I'm going to show you after, but I'm going to go on to my next topic, which is avoiding confusion during meetings. So I'm going to go back to posts here. Thanks, Louis. Yeah, a notebook is a good to-do list. You're right. Yeah. Yeah, and Tanya, you can use OneNote, by the way, by itself. You don't have to use it in Teams either. It's a way to save notes with the group when it's in Teams is all. Okay, so let's say I want to use this more effectively for meetings. And I'm not going to teach you too much with meetings, because I'm sure all of you have experience with Teams meetings, whether you're a guest or someone that's put together a meeting yourself from scratch. But what I want to show you that I find most people are not doing is that if I do have a team of people that I already created and we have these channels, then I want to create the meetings in here. Don't make a meeting in Outlook and invite those same people, because when you make a meeting in Outlook, it doesn't put the meeting in the team or the channel. Outlook meetings put the team in chat, and chat is overused and abused. I'm not even talking about it very, very little today, because I just find everybody's using it and it's just a mess. Teams and channels is where you want to be to organize yourself and keep things centralized and together. So, and I know chat is you have to have chat, because there's certain situations where you're going to be chatting with external people or one-off people. But if you work with that group of people regularly, then you want to have a team with them, even if they're external. Because I think one of you was asking me about externals. Westlock. Yeah, Karen, you're asking about that. If Karen's in here, I'm not sure if she made it. But yeah, even with externals, I can have a team with them and then have the meetings in here. So let's just go here and just want to see from when I'm in the channel within my team, I can schedule a meeting with this group of people, and then that can send them a meeting invite and they can get it in their Outlook and so on and so forth, right? So I'm not going to do that right now because I don't have time to have it. Let's just meet now because I want to show you the features in the meeting. So I'm going to choose meet now and wait for it. Bum, bum, bum. And so it has a title here. So we'll just say test and info session. Yeah, can't spell. Okay, and say join now. Oh, that's never happened to me. Even though I'm on Zoom, come on, Teams. It could be my internet. Let's just see. Oh, there, it's working. It's working. Okay, so then I can, so I know I just started the meeting, but if people are in Teams regularly, then what's going to happen is they're going to see the little icon that shows there's a meeting going on in that team or in that channel. And you can't see it right now because of this. It also says join right there. So they'll see that if they're in Teams. If they're not in Teams, they could get an email sent to them. From their phone, they'll also get this showing up if they go into Teams, though. So if you're not sure, you're saying, well, no, my people aren't really into Teams that much, Connie, yet that's why I'm here. Then you can certainly go add participants. And then you'll see these are the people within your team. So then you can request one of them to join. I'll ask the other person, the other me to join. So now I have to look at my other computer, see if I can join there. Not that I really have to, it doesn't matter. And then what we're looking at here is really, I just want to point out, if I go into, let's just start with the easy stuff. If I start adding a chat, so any of you guys already know this. When I start chatting in that meeting with the people that are in the meeting, it's actually putting that chat right here. Notice, oops, sorry guys. Notice that I'm in the training channel here. See this meeting's happening right there. There's the chat that I just, so people can actually, look at their meeting on a separate screen if they want, but just know it's populating in here. And if I record the meeting or if I use other features, like if I take notes, so recording to transcribe is available to me. I'm not going to do that just because of the Zoom meeting we're in right now, just because of the bandwidth. But if I were to record, the recording would be kept with the meeting as well. And then they don't have, they used to have meeting notes, but they're kind of doing away with some of these extra features because they're wanting you to use like something like OneNote instead. So really you can have the meeting open and then have your OneNote notebook within the team open as well. So that, and just tell everybody to actually be in that OneNote notebook, and you guys could be all, if you really wanted to, it's probably best to have one person scribing or making the notes, but other people could be contributing at the same time. So that, and then you could link that page from the notebook back to where the posts are for the meeting. Sorry, I'm clicking around a lot. So you could link that page here as well, or just know this is how we always do it. We have the meeting notes are in the notebook. That's the standard method of doing it. But we also have that chat saved, and then the transcribe is saved and the meeting recording is saved here as well. So that's kind of the biggest thing. Meetings in Teams has changed quite a bit as well over the last few years, in that you now have breakout rooms. In case you didn't know, you have lots of extra views, which are kind of goofy and silly, but you might want to play with them. And then you can share your screen, but you can share more than just your screen. You can obviously share a PowerPoint and all kinds of stuff as well. But so just the biggest thing for me to show to you guys is that, I mean, I know we're doing a Zoom meeting, but now this Zoom meeting I'm recording is going to go to one place on my computer. That's going to be saving the recording, and the chat files will be saved separately. And then it's not saved with the team, right? And so if we were a team of people, it would have been way better to have that meeting in that team channel. Okay, and let me know in the chat if you guys are already doing that. Maybe I'm telling you stuff that's like, oh yeah, Connie, we already know this. Are you having meetings within Teams? And if you are you doing it in the team channel? That is the topic of the meeting. Or are you using Outlook and the chat? So that is your question. Okay, so David's saying, yeah, using Outlook. So David, does this make sense though, that if you have the right group of people together in the team and you have the topic, why not use the channel? Okay, awesome. Okay, so that's that topic. Now let's talk about another point I gave you guys in terms of why I want you to use Teams more and kind of take advantage of some of these tools. Yeah, lots of noise. You're right, Tanya. Is that stay on track with tasks. So this is going to overwhelm you again. So remember, I'm not teaching you right now, you guys. I'm showing you. I'm just kind of presenting your options, showing you the potential, and hopefully get you excited about trying some of these things out. If you want me to teach you, that's what I do for a living. I certainly can set you up with a course or even some coaching and stuff. But in the meantime, you guys just need to practice and try things out. Okay, so Jennifer, you're saying yes to Teams meetings, but no within the team. So it's still transitioning. Yeah, I got it. Yeah, if you're still building it out, that's fair. But just kind of keep in mind when you build your team, that's one of the purposes of my channel, is that I have a place for that group of people to have a meeting about that topic. And then all of our meetings, we always know where to find them. It's always in that channel. So it just makes it easier for everybody as a group. And then when you're bringing on new people, everybody can tell that new person. You don't have to, reinvent the wheel all the time. It should just be one system that you're using for everything there. Okay, so stay on track with tasks. Next point here. So I'm going to show you an example of Planner. Maybe let me know in the chat if any of you guys are using the Planner app already. Tell me if you are using it. Are you using it in Teams, or are you using it just outside of Teams? So that's kind of a couple of options there. Yeah, change management. You are right there. Okay, so Planner is all about a task system, right? So, and there's Planner is one of my favorite apps that Microsoft 365 gives us. And it's of course a great way to share information with my team and kind of check on, how are they doing, where are they at? So I get that kind of request a lot of times when people are looking at Teams, and the functionality of it is if I want to just check on, if I've given somebody a task, where are they at? Well, use Planner for that, because then you guys can share this screen, and then you can assign the information to the right person. So the signing, by the way, if you look at the pictures here, so that's me, this is the other me, and then this is Perry, and this is Joanne. So different people, I can see their tasks, or I can just go to filter and I can say, you know what, I don't want to see everybody else's tasks. Let's just look at Joanne's stuff. Okay, so that's what Joanne has. So I can look at just one group, one person, or I can filter. Really, filtering is a way to get a smaller list, right? I can filter based on many different parameters here. I'm just picking kind of the most common one. Yeah, adoption is something that takes time, right? So again, you want to have the vision of what's possible and why you create your teams the way you do, but getting everybody adopting it is going to take a bit of time. But you want to tease them with some scenarios, some areas that are fun or that makes sense. Like, well, this would be really helpful here. And then once they've used it in one place, then they can use it in other places. So we don't want to overwhelm people, but we certainly want to ease them in by giving them examples, right? This is a new system. Let's use it to make ourselves, to the benefit of helping ourselves here. Okay, so just a couple of things about the Planner. I'm not going to get into too deep. I have a whole course on this one as well, of course, but this is a pretty easy thing to start using. So all you're going to do within your team, so I'm in the training channel. So you're going to go to the appropriate channel where it has the topic that you want to have tasks around. And you're going to go to that plus sign at the top there. And then you're going to look for planners. If it's not showing, you're just going to type in Planner, type in task by Planner. If it's a private channel, you cannot, you can go through the motions of adding Planner, but it will not add it into your team this way. I have a YouTube video. In fact, I have a whole YouTube channel with 150 plus videos on it, about everything Microsoft. But I have a YouTube video on how to add Planner to a private channel. So just so you know, you can try it. It's not going to work. So just watch my video if you really want to do that. But the plus sign is how you get that in there. And then once you have it in there, then you start adding tasks. And what you're doing is when you add the tasks in, you're kind of thinking, okay, what are the things I need to do? What do I need to delegate to other people? And then what are the buckets? So these things at the top here, Teams, SharePoint, OneDrive, these are my bucket names. So this is the training channel. So this is all about what I train. I train on Teams, I train on SharePoint, I train on OneDrive, train on OneNote, and so on. So those are my bucket names. So then I can go and take these tasks and actually, let's just see if I have, I think I put it, I don't need that one. So I'm just going to delete that one. I could have different buckets. OneNote. Okay, so this one, so Joanne added a task in that says prepare a tip sheet on the OneNote. So I can take that task and drag it over here. And that's kind of the beauty of this. Oh, sorry, I didn't drag very well because I think it, oh no, hang on. Sorry, guys. My screen is just a little bit, come on. Okay, it's not dragging very nicely here. I'll drag it here. How about that one? And then I'll scroll over. It's just for some reason because I can't see it on the whole screen. I just need it to, I need to see that it's dropping it there. So patiently drop it there, right? So then I can group it that way. So I can look at things, I can try to plan things out. And then the reason I'm showing you to this way is that I want you to think about sometimes just figuring out what the buckets are is hard. It's like, okay, what are our tasks about? And that's what those headings are. What are the headings of the main things that we need to do? And there's lots of things you can do with this. I can't go into every detail, but I'm going to open up one of my tasks. Sorry, my dog's in the background. And then what you want to see in the tasks is I can assign people. So that's where the assignments come in. And that's based on who's in my team. That's who I can assign. So they have to be within the team. I can certainly change the progress, change the urgency, put a date on things. Apparently I'm starting in, what is that? July 2022. So I'm really old, aren't I? So let's go. Sorry, I'll just make it more current. So this one we can at least see July 19th. And then due date, we'll say the same thing. It doesn't repeat, but you can have repeating tasks. Show on card is where it shows the extra stuff on the card. So if you notice, these little checklist is showing on the card right now. So if I just close out of here, you'll see that checklist is showing on the card, and it's showing 7/19 is the date that this is when I want to get it done by. So rather than viewing it in this way, I could actually say, rather than grouping it by these bucket names, let's view it by the due date. And then I see, yeah, sorry, I have lots of stuff that says it's late. So let's just pretend I'm not late. This is just my sample stuff. And I don't want to do everything today. So let's make something else next week. And then I have a next week grouping. See how easy that is? Are any of you guys using like Asana or Trello? Because I think this compares to those products as well. Maybe give me some notes in the chat there if you're using it. And also let me know what do you think about this? What do you think about the potential for using it within your teams? Trello can connect to Teams, but Trello is not free. Trello, you're going to pay a subscription for, whereas Planner comes with Microsoft 365 as part of the Microsoft suite. So Planner is in my mind, if you're going to use Teams and all everything Microsoft, then stick with the same family, right? Yeah. So I can look at this as a list. So I was in the board view. I can look at it as a list so I can see everything in a different way. I can look at it as a chart. This might be scary. All the red means I'm late. So then I can see how many things are urgent versus important, what's assigned to who, right? And so on. And then I can even go to my schedule and see what do I have. So my schedule is a little bit crazy because I'm not changing my dates all the time. So I should be changing my dates better. So it's showing all this blue because this is the 2022. I put the wrong year in there and I can't. Okay, yeah, I can type. Hang on. Let's make this so it's not the, hello, work with me, people. Okay, let's say I gave myself 5 days to do that for some reason. I don't want that long. Let's Yikes. Okay. Use the menu. I like to type stuff in and then it's just trying to help me with the drop down. So I just moved that to here. And now I can actually move that around. And so it shouldn't be showing this way. I apologize for it showing that way. It's just I didn't fix my dates better. But it should be showing as into when am I going to do that? I could take more than one day for sure, but not 3 months or 3 years, right? So as one task. I mean, obviously you could have a group of tasks that take that long, but so the schedule is kind of cool. Right now I'm looking at everybody's, but I could filter it and say that I only want to see what do I got on the go. And then I should see, okay, apparently I have nothing this month. Let's see what the other Connie has. So she has one thing. So see when I'm filtering it, it changes what I see. And then what does Joanne have? Oh, Joanne's got the one that's got the wrong date on it. Yeah, because it's got the wrong year. Okay. It's not cooperating. Okay, that's still showing the whole month, but anyway, so you guys hopefully get the idea. There we go. Makes it look better. There's Joanne's. And now Joanne's gray, and this one is the other Connie. Okay, so lots of potential. Lots of potential. So this is the idea of sharing information with my group, with my team, so that we can get things done. And we can also, by the way, once we're in a task, we can go down and we can chat about the task. So you can comment on things like you say, well, how's it going? Did you find trouble with this or that? And then kind of take it from there. So lots of potential there. Okay, Jennifer loves Planner. Okay, good job. Yeah. Using it a lot. And so within the teams are using it, maybe just let me know. Do within teams doesn't consolidate users tasks. Okay, might have to take that offline with what you're seeing there, Jennifer. Okay, so I think I had one more point there to talk about in terms of I mentioned to remove distractions. So hopefully all of this stuff, even though it looks busy and there's lots of stuff in it, it should hopefully help remove distractions because I'm moving to the right location for the group of people I want to communicate with or collaborate with. And I'm also in the right channel based on the right topic or the right area of what we need to discuss or share information on. But the other thing I can do is I can just put what I need on the channel. So what I mean by that is that I can take, so this is going to be a PowerPoint. So I can just click somewhere in my channel and I can link to a file. So this is a PowerPoint file that I'm linked to. And I'm showing you this right now because I want you to actually get this. You can take a picture of this if you want. This is just my YouTube channel if you want to get access to the YouTube channel. So this is one way I can help you out further after today. You can just go on my YouTube and check out the videos there. You can email me questions. That's how I get a lot of inspiration from my YouTube channel. But the second way that I can help you, so I'm just going to kind of go into this presentation for a second and then show you another example right after. The second way is that this is what I do. I've been doing training for many, many years. And so I have a full online program on how to use Microsoft Teams. And this is kind of from A to Z, like all the things you need to know about Microsoft Teams. Now, there is a little bit about OneNote in there, might be a little bit about Planner, but there are separate programs on that. So this program on Teams is all about, how do I be successful with creating my team? So if you want to learn from scratch how to use Teams, then this is the program I would recommend to you. And you can start right now. You'll have, with today's information session, I'm just kind of adding in a couple of bonuses. I'll give you a free coaching session, so like a half-hour coaching session, one-on-one, and then I'll also give you 12 months access to this training. And so it's $97 US per person, so it's a pretty good deal. So you can take a picture of that if you want. And then the third option in my PowerPoint here is just reaching out and talking with me. If you want to discuss where you're at with the Teams program and you're not sure what you should do next, or just kind of get my opinion on stuff, you can set up a meeting with me for free and just talk to me a little bit about what you're doing and how you feel like you want to move forward. And then I can help you think of a way to go further with it. So I can assess a little bit of what you're doing and then help you implement something. So that might just be a little bit of advice I'm giving you for free, or I might be suggesting to take my coaching or do my online training. This sort of depends on what you're telling me. But I give people free support all the time. It actually helps me because then I hear their questions, and helps me build videos and build better content for my students all the time. So by all means, certainly reach out to me. That there's no shortage of doing that. So the other thing though I can do is that, let's say, so I'm showing you an example of kind of clearing the clutter or moving distraction, sorry, by showing you a PowerPoint that's tacked to my team. But let's say there's a spreadsheet that you guys are always going into. So your team is always sharing the same spreadsheet, or you're always sharing the same Word document, and it's just the most popular one or the most used one. Then what you can do is, of course we can have it in our files, but rather than that, I'm just kind of looking at my files here. So rather than that, there's a pinning at the top. I can just put it over here so that when people go here, they'll see, right there, they saw what's next. But let's say, which one do I want to use? Let's say I want to use the, sorry, I'm just going to look at group example. Let's say that one. So I'm going to hit the plus sign, and I'm just going to bring in that Excel file so that people can work on that group example all the time. So what I'm doing when I'm adding that in is it sounds like I'm adding in Excel, but I'm adding an Excel file. So I chose Excel, and now it wants to know, well, what from Excel? So it's really looking for files. So I can go to one of the other locations, but I'm just going to go to, actually, sorry, my files is OneDrive, by the way. I love Microsoft's terminology, how they change it. But I'm an instructor, so I want to go to instructors, and then it's making me kind of find it. So then go into training, and then group. So I kind of have to know where it is. And I can post to the channel about that so everybody else will know, hey, Connie's done that. And then save it. And so group examples here. And if I want to make sure it's always easy and visible, I can just drag that guy over here. And I can even rename it. So I call it the group spreadsheet, let's say. See how your tabs at the top, you want to make sure your tabs at the top are really easy to read. And again, you made them, so they may be easy for you, but think about a stranger coming in and going, well, what was she trying to create here? So the stranger should know how to find stuff based on the tab names at the top here. So yeah, I picked a spreadsheet that's pretty empty, but anyways, because it's my group example. So the group example is I'm supposed to be doing, I don't know if I can even do it in here. Does the group example even work in? Yeah, I'd have to open it up in Excel to do it there. But I just wanted to show you. So I can just have that file tacked on to the top of my team, so it's easy access to the rest of the team. So that could have been anything that I was tacking on there, any file. So I'm giving everybody quick access to it. So obviously they can all edit it or change it in any way they want. There's all kinds of things you can do with permission, by the way, too. So if you're worried about editing, there's other things you can do with that as well. I'm just going to say at a default level, you can edit anything that you put into a team with a group of people. So I'm going to go back here again and into posts. And so it says here, I added a tab at the top. That's group example. Check it out. So if I were to click this way, that would just take me into the tab. Okay, my mind's pretty boring. I don't have the best spreadsheet example here. It's a good example for when I'm teaching Excel, but for this, it's not too filled out. And by the way, when I'm in Teams, everybody else that's in my team could be in the spreadsheet with me, and they could be working on it. I could be working on it. I would see that they're there though, because I would see their initials showing up here. I'm just looking at my other machine. I don't know if I can get in there fast enough to show you. Oh yeah. I can get in there. This is taking a minute. And I can make comments on stuff, like you make comments on your spreadsheets all the time, probably within just Excel, but then other people can also, you can have a comments bar open here so other people can actually make comments as well. And you're not seeing it yet, but I am in that team. Oh, no, sorry. I'm not logged in on my other machine as the other person. So you're not seeing it. You would see if other people were logged in here, their initials there, but All right, Tanya, flat filing lacks the visual cues. Yeah, exactly. So this is a kind of another way of sort of filing or pinning something like this is really important. I want that group to see it. And you can have as many of this, the top areas be your actual files. Like what was it, Stephanie, I think the bookkeeper, she was telling with her clients, she might want them to see, you know, their balance sheet or their, I don't know, chart of accounts or something all the time. So she could just tack that at the top so that they don't have to go searching for it in files, because it really is coming from the files. So whatever I change in this group SS is going to change in here. That's the same thing. It's exactly the same thing. So Teams really is about linking or interlinking everything for yourself and for your team so that people can get access to it very quickly. But you change it in one place, it should be updating it. It's really updating the same place. It's updating the same file. All right. So I know I've gone through this really quickly. There's lots more I could tell you, but I just wanted to give you a feel for some of the advantages of Teams and what's possible. Maybe in the chat, if you guys can tell me your top takeaways from this. And then if you want to unmute or show your video camera, we've got a few minutes left and I don't mind going over a little bit. If you have some specific questions, then certainly please share them with me now, or you can book an appointment with me. Here, I'll put that on the screen if you want.
Connie, this is Lewis. I just have a question.
Yeah, go ahead.
First of all, thank you. This is amazing. I use Teams, you know, just like many others, you know, mostly for video meetings, but I have channels and all that. Now, my to-do list is a bit complicated. And I found so far, anyway, that the only way to keep it all together in one place is actually in Outlook, and I just slot like a 30-minute for every task and so on. And this way I can see everything in one place.
Mm-hmm.
But after your presentation here, I'm thinking, well, maybe, you know, Teams makes a little more sense, not to mention all the files that I have in the number of folders, which is insane, but at least it's all in one spot.
Yeah.
That's
Lewis.
That's what keeps me insane. So what do you suggest as far as doing that in Teams or not?
Yeah, so I think what you're saying to me is for a particular project for a client, if you could make it, even if it's just for yourself, like if it's just for, you can use Teams for one person. And that's what Lewis is, I think, representing here, is that he would just make a team for, say, client ABC, and he has a current project of building, and Lewis, by the way, is the if you want anybody that knows Excel or can do anything and everything with Excel, you want to talk to him or talk to me and I could give you his information. But he does these massive projects with people on automating their Excel spreadsheets. And so that one project you're working on for that client, Lewis, I would have a channel for, and then keep everything in there. So, and a planner and your files and any, if you get emails from the client, I would just send them to the file and send them to the channel. So then you're keeping it all in one spot. Kind of like,
sorry about that. Sorry, just regarding the email, that's another question I had. Sorry to interrupt. So when you actually get an email from a client in your Outlook, you can actually just drag it into your channel?
If you drag it, it kind of drags it and throws it into files. So it throws it into here. But the other thing, maybe you missed seeing it earlier. Actually here, I can drag in here if I want, but it'll show up kind of like that, which is not bad. But I also showed how you can just go to the three dots beside a channel, get the email address, and when you do that, what happens is it goes into the posts. And the reason I like this method better, I don't know if I have one here, if I have to scroll up for 4 days to find it, but I probably have one here somewhere. But the reason why I want it in the posts is that then you could visually see at least the beginning of it. Doesn't always show the whole thing, but you can then make your comments underneath. So I'm just thinking about Lewis or Stephanie. And Stephanie, I think you have a group of people you work with, but if it was just for your own purposes, it doesn't hurt to have that information organized for one person in one place, and that can help them.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, Tanya's putting a link in there. I'm not sure what the link is there, but thank you, Tanya. Some big something about sharing an email to Microsoft Teams from Outlook. Yeah, I just told you how to do it, Tanya. You don't need a link from Microsoft. Or you can go to my YouTube channel. There's probably about 7 videos on that. No, maybe not, but
thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, Stephanie, what else are you saying? So any other questions, please stick on or stay around for a couple minutes. Thank you guys for joining today. I will send you an email kind of with the video recording. I don't know if I'll give you this one, kind of depends on the quality of it, or if I give you a past one that I've done that will have the same kind of content in it. And then if you have questions, please don't hesitate to see how convenient this is. I don't have to go to keep looking for the PowerPoint. If you have questions, go to my YouTube channel, you make an appointment with me, or if you want to just get started today, take advantage of that deal that I'm offering you there. Okay, so back to a specific question I think Stephanie had, which was how to see notifications when someone posts or changes something, how to stay on top of what is happening. It's a bit of a big question, Stephanie, because there's many ways of seeing notifications. So let's just break it down a little bit. So first off, notifications is coming from your profile at the very top here, the 3 dots and settings. I think I have a video on this on YouTube too, where I talk about the differences, but there is notifications there. This is kind of at the top level. So this is sort of saying everything in Teams, I want to be notified this method, right? But this is everything. So if Stephanie's talking about, well, this is one client that I need to know as soon as they send me something, I want to see it like really fast. Then I make sure this is, of course, set up the best way possible for everything as a default. But then I could go to that one client. So let's say instructors is the team I have with that one client. I'll just pretend this is the example. And then we are communicating a lot through maybe the general channel. I can change my notifications on a channel by channel basis. So I can say all activity. Which means that I'll get a pop-up no matter what happens in the general channel. So if somebody just says hi, I'll get a pop-up. So they don't have to say hi, Stephanie, or hi, Connie. They just have to type something in there. Whereas most of the time with your notifications, you get pop-ups because people are tagging you. They're going... so it's the taggings with the @ symbol and then your name or the @ symbol in some kind of group that you belong to within the team or something. So that's one thing, Stephanie, that you could do is maybe at a channel level, turn on all activity. Another thing you could possibly do is if there was a post where you were asking a specific question, like maybe you asked them for some, you had 5 things you needed them to send you. And so that was what the post was about. You could go to that post and then, I guess you wouldn't want to turn off. Yeah. So actually, sorry, if you made the post, then it'll notify you, because every reply to a post you make, you're going to get notifications. This is kind of the opposite. This would turn off notifications if you're getting too many replies. Maybe you said, how's your Monday or how's your Wednesday? And everyone was talking about it all day long. So you want to turn that off. But, yeah, I guess if you wanted more than that, Stephanie, would probably have to talk a bit further about what else you could do that would, because there's probably some automation maybe you can build in that would help you get notified. So, or you could sort of teach that client. All right, Tanya, team share button and Outlook messages. Yeah, there is a team share button in Outlook messages. You're right. Yeah, thank you for saying that. Tanya's like on top of everything here. What was your question for me, Tanya? Capturing knowledge from chats. Yeah, so in Outlook, yeah, I didn't get into Outlook. Outlook has a Teams button. It also has a OneNote button, by the way, so you can send stuff from Outlook into Teams or into OneNote. So there's lots of potential for you. Unread notifications. So you can actually just go /unread is one way. That's a quick key to find all the unread stuff, and then all your unread stuff will show. So apparently I have nothing unread. Or you could just go to activity. If you go to activity, it would show you your unread stuff in order when it came in. There you go. Yeah, everybody has ideas. Okay, so I didn't talk about chat because really use chat less. I think it's just a mess. Chat is a mess. I don't like it. I mean, I like it. I use it, but yeah, Teams, channels is what people need to start working on. All right, so thank you, everybody. Get a hold of me afterwards if you'd like to go further with this. If not, just go further on your own by testing things out and trying it, and build those teams so people want to join you in them. Don't scare them. Make them excited about the potential. So, all right. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.